Okay, welcome everybody today to CV Labs. We are more than happy to have you here. Today is a special day because we have the celebration of Velas Network. So, without further ado, I want to give the word to the founder and the guy behind all this dream and inspiration for this project. Let's welcome today Alex Alexandrov.
Thank you, everybody. It's been just over a year since we started this project, and we're really excited to be back here because this is our office. So we check in once in a while. But last time I was here was about 7 months ago, I believe. That was the last time we had a speech here. That went pretty well. Since then, we've had a lot of developments, a lot of new teams join our projects. The ecosystem has been expanding. And today I kind of want to present the growth of that we've had and the what we've achieved to date and what our future plans. So without further ado, I wonder if I can switch the slideshow on and jump right into it. Thanks for coming, by the way. Yeah. So Velas, first slide, I guess. It's, who doesn't know it, it's a virtual expanding learning autonomous system. The idea was born to have a blockchain that optimizes itself, learns from its own resources, and the AI constantly basically dictates the terms that are more optimal for the blockchain to perform versus the people analyzing it and recoding the blockchain. So to reduce the stress level required on the developers to constantly release code and reduce the costs associated with upgrades and the development cost of the blockchain development. So currently, this is our roadmap of what is being developed right now. The Velas blockchain is splits up into 3 main segments right now. So we have Velas interface, which basically consists of wallets, exchange DEX that's coming right now that's going to work with multi-assets swap peer-to-peer inside of the wallet. If you haven't seen Velas Wallet, I encourage you to download it. It's going to be the browser for the entire Velas ecosystem. That's where basically everything we're doing in this ecosystem is going to come together, and it's going to be quite easy to navigate. It already is one of the most secure wallets for multi-coin storage. It derives the keys from 24-word mnemonic, and you can keep it, and it keeps all the crypto safe that you hold in this wallet. And then now we're expanding on this to additional features like having the decentralized exchange, digital asset storage, which already in there, and then the node staking. So what that is Velas is a AI DPOS system, which means you stake minimum million coins and you get a node. What that node does is it basically gets into the validation block and it starts to produce blocks on the network, which ends up in exchange produce coins that are then distributed to everybody on the network. Now, that is all done from the same wallet. So what we've done to make it convenient for all users is that we want to create a single point of entry into the ecosystem where even a novel user can come in and quite easily understand what the ecosystem is about. What we've noticed with many projects analyzing them is that you have different resources for different pieces that you have to go to different places and it's hard to comprehend for an end user how to put it all together. Our goal is to create a wallet system that is like a window into the entire ecosystem. So the other piece is we're developing what we call Vortex, and I'll get to that in a second actually, because the Velosphere on the very far right, that's something that we're launching now, and that is something that we're really excited about, we've been working on for a little while. We built the Velas ecosystem of nodes, so now there's 50 nodes live at any time on our network, which is quite great. Anybody who's coming into the network who doesn't have the capacity or the resources to launch one themselves, they can delegate and co-mine essentially with them together. And all you need is 10,000 VLX for that to participate. And that allows you to share, kind of like in the mining pool, you share the profits that node produces, and you can take a share of that for yourself on the equal basis. Now, the Velosphere is something that is built on top. So if you are already delegating and you're thinking, okay, so I have a computer that's running 24/7 or part of the day, and you're not using it all the time, you can allocate resources of your machine by a slide bar and allocate your hard drive space, your CPU space, CPU usage time, your GPU, and your bandwidth to contribute it to Velas. What that does, it forms a network of computers on the network, which can then be used for other users to build services on top of. It could be file storage, video sharing, social media, decentralized social media platform, and all the other pieces that come together which use these resources and kind of build on top of that. So Velas is essentially the resources that you can earn additional money, which you can go in your wallet, and you can basically allow sharing of any resources you have available on your machine. After that's done, if you want to participate, you can go to what we call Vortex, just sitting right here in this slide. So Vortex, you can get to the next slide and explain a little bit more. This is the wallet. So on the wallet here, as you can see under staking section, right here, you can go there, and that's where you're going to be able to dedicate your resources. You're going to be able to stake your coins, and you can delegate as well. The Vortex itself is an interesting thing. It's kind of like a browser into your ecosystem. That's where everything the reason we call it Vortex is that's where the Velas and the Velas coin come together. So this is where the smart contracts enable users to build, large capacity services like a video file sharing, which is what's launching right now. And then also messengers, anything that requires a lot of data to be stored somewhere on the network. What's fundamentally difficult with blockchains is you can't put a lot of data on the blockchain because it bloats the blockchain itself, and then users and companies don't want to install the nodes and run them because you don't want to be downloading everyone's data. It's just going to be so much. So we separate them into two separate aspects. So Velas is actually hashed on the blockchain for what is being uploaded and downloaded, but the data itself is stored on user machines that are kept encrypted and shredded into pieces and spread across the internet between them. So Velas blockchain uses just the hash to optimize where everything's stored and keep that dedicated. And then users earn money by providing that service as a smart contract to the Velas network. And then Vortex, you come in. And so Vortex is kind of where all the services will bundle into one. This is something that we haven't been able to find in other projects. So what we have seen is there's a project like Golem, there's storage, and they target a single aspect of a protocol, like they build on top of Ethereum, or sometimes they go off into their own blockchain, and that allows you just to file storage or messaging or things like that. What I find confusing, and generally from talking to users on the network throughout the years of being in the space, is that in order to drive adoption, you got to make it really easy and simple for an average person to be able to use the system. If you have one window to this whole ecosystem and one easy to understand and easy to use system, then people will stay in it and they will appreciate what is being done for them. This is exactly what we're trying to create by combining Velas as a coin for sending, receiving, for staking, and delegating to kind of enter the world, which is traditional blockchain realm. And then we create Velas where we can entice people to come in and give their resources and become real participants, or somebody who can actually contribute to the network in a different way other than financial. And then Vortex is where regular users can come in and say, okay, I got VLX, what do I do with it? And you go into Vortex window and you see decentralized services that are running, using the messengers. You can use watch videos, upload files, store your data in a safe environment. So the idea is to create a decentralized iCloud per se, Google Drive, and so on and so forth, where you don't have to longer rely on other alternative cloud solutions for your data and for your everyday use on the internet, because those are generally not very safe. We keep seeing hacks, we keep seeing different people breaching different systems, including Amazon Cloud recently, and that's kind of creating an issue for everyone in the long term, because our data is not safe. But what do we do to make it safe? If we have a project that just focuses on data, it's really hard to get user adoption. So the idea is to create an entire ecosystem that we've been working on, and that's kind of our vision of how we see it coming together. The huge part of this is Velas artificial intuition. We call it intuition because it's a decentralized artificial intelligence. What it does is that every node will install artificial intelligence system, which is basically like a file that you run along the side with your node, and it analyzes all the transactions, all the data that happens on the network live. So it pulls the data from every other node and calculates the information and says, okay, in this epoch, and just for everybody who doesn't understand what an epoch is, in Velas in Velas Network, we have blocks every 5 seconds, and then every 6 hours the epoch concludes. The epoch is when the 19 delegates get selected to be the block producers, and they run it for the 6-hour period. When it's over, the system selects the new 19 based on their reputation on the network. So we right now have a pool of 50 so far, people who are basically on the waiting list to be the people who are going to produce the blocks and earn the money by doing so and verify all the transactions. And in traditional blockchains or other blockchains, like EOS, for example, that is done by vote. So they have 21 block producers that are voted in by the users of the network. On our system, we do it based on reputation scoring and how many delegates are on top of your node, which is basically people trusting you to stay online. It's very similar in the sense of they vote in you by putting trust in you and delegating to earn with you, co-sharing style. Without giving up their private keys that's done through a smart contract as well. However, the AI manages the aspect of reputation, understanding your uptime, what is your performance like, and how you optimize the network, and are you able to handle the stress loads which occasionally will occur on the network. So if your machine is surviving all these factors, you get a higher rating score, which means you have a higher chance of becoming a validator in the epoch. So that's just one of the aspects. Another thing that we're using it to optimize is communication between nodes. So to reach really high throughput of transactions per second, what is basically required is you need to have the best communication between the nodes when the transactions are going down the pipeline. And so if a user wants to send and receive, the node that receives that transaction and broadcasts it to other nodes in the epoch, that has to happen. The faster that happens, the more we can fit in a small amount of time. AI basically constantly optimizes these communication paths. Something that is really difficult to do with solid code blockchains, which is kind of what the world runs on right now in general sense of it. And basically, we are able to eliminate that and allow it to be dynamic and constantly evolving with the situations as they arise. So the response time is almost instantaneous to any reaction. Also, the AI is able to mitigate any attacks. So if somebody's trying to do like a malicious thing on our network, we're in a traditional network, any kind of attack would have to be noticed by community, responded by with an update or a patch. Our system can actually isolate a person who's causing this attack, block them from the network, and restructure how the network behaves to avoid this vector of attack. And it's always learning. So these little optimizations sound like little, long-term is actually going to become a really robust way of optimizing the blockchain. And I think this technology will also be able to be applicable to other blockchains once it's fully developed and runs in the wild. So our roadmap for the next foreseeable future, for this year, is we've released a wallet. Currently, we're releasing some DPOS to get some traction in the communities on Reddit and on Telegram, which is something that they requested, and we're really excited about that. We got distributed storage that's launching now, so we're targeting August for the launch of the Velas, which will allow users to start dedicating their machine's resources and start storing their data like files, watching videos, and uploading the images on a decentralized, in lame speak, I guess, is decentralized YouTube and a decentralized imager, which will be kind of like the first step into creating a decentralized social media platform within the Vortex portal. We're now going further into obviously doing the exchange listings. We're now on about 8 exchanges. We have 4 more coming up. That's something that's an ongoing process. It's something that you got to do as a coin. It takes time, and we're basically dedicating some resources to it, but we don't want to focus on it too much. And I want to talk about something really cool that's not here right now, and that is on our actual on our actual website, we decided to do something by talking to community and realizing, you know, what they want and what they don't want. And we had a roadmap, which 6-7 months ago we presented here, and we realized as we started developing that some of the things don't go according to plan in accordance because community asks us to different things and make some adjustments. So what we've done is on our website now, we already uploaded it now, and we created a roadmap where users can vote using a smart contract on a priority and a task that we're developing on our blockchain. So along with the fact that they will actually see the progress in the percentage versus like the dates of completion that we foresee that they could be completed, we actually put a percentage of as it gets complete, and then users can come in, see what's going on, and they say, okay, I want exchange listings. Let's hold off web UI for the wallet. That's not as important to me right now. I think it works just fine. They can cast a vote with their holdings, and it will be weighted based on how much Velas they hold in their wallet, which could prioritize our tasks. I've never seen a project do that in open like that. It will save us a lot of hassle from, you know, with communication and finding out what they actually want, because we're building it for the world. We're not building it for ourselves. The key pieces will continue working, like AI will not be something we can vote on because that's something that requires ongoing resources and development. But all the auxiliary tasks like getting hardware wallets integrations, exchange integrations, some sort of documentation for the certain things that they might require, all those things take time and human resources. So we're creating a smart contract that's now live on our website, and the voting will begin next week, so you can actually start casting votes on what you want to see us develop first. This is an update of our current team and organization. So we've grown quite a bit. As you can see, different departments. So from the top, you can see the Velas organization, myself, Farah, who's here, who's the Swiss director of the company. You know, we got a project lead, Shirley, as well, presented here today. And, you know, this is something that we actually publish now. I posted it on Twitter, and we also have it on our webpage, I believe, now. But that is something, you know, kind of shows the full scope of our team working on each task that we're kind of describing today. And we're really stoked about this because now that we have the partners, we don't only have the developers in-house, but we realize that certain of the tasks that we're doing, like with AI, teams are a lot better to bring along than just hire your own staff. I'm not sure if anyone tried to hire people in the blockchain space lately, but it's an impossible task almost because all the projects are sucking up all the talent and it's a constant battle. So with the fact that we're doing something so progressive and out there, we're actually able to get some interesting people join our team. So this may not seem as impressive to some who don't understand, but to me this is like the most exciting thing we're able to accomplish to date, because now we have some of the most talented people in the industry helping us achieve our goal, and I couldn't be more happier with this. This is a huge achievement for us. Yeah, so at this point I just want to cover one little thing, and that is we are now entering the next phase of the development, and like I said, we're rolling out Velosphere in August, and then we're doing something very interesting with the smart contracts that we developed for the development of our program, of our company, and the priority tasks for the community. We decided that we want to pivot and work on something called DPI, which we call Decentralized Positive Impact. So we're now reaching out and doing partnership deals with the charitable organizations around the world. The one that we're doing work right now with is in working with Amazon Forest and helping deforestation. So we're working together with them to create similar smart contracts programs for flow of funds into those organizations and track the actual results on the ground. And we were able to relay that back to people using Vortex ecosystem. Why? Because the images from the ground, from the community, confirming the actions that are taking place in the community from the funds that are arriving from the charitable organizations can now be tracked, uploaded as evidence, documented on the blockchain, and voted by the community to release additional funding to them and give them a scoring system, which I believe will improve the flow of funds and eliminate a lot of the corruption and money going the wrong places in organizations. This is something that we're really excited about and really want to work towards now, because I feel like a lot of the projects currently on the planet are targeting DeFi, decentralized financing. It's great, like optimizations of bank is great, Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. But I feel like charitable funds and the flow of funds into positive impact around the world is something that a blockchain really should be applying itself to right now. Because with the COVID and everything around the world, this seems to be like a more appropriate target where people are going hungry around the world. We're still deforesting Amazon for really dubious reasons, where there's funding going towards that annually, and it feels like it's just not getting where it needs to go. I feel like that's the new frontier that blockchain really needs to be applied to, and we're stepping into that role and actively working on that, because we have the data storage to process that information, we have the smart contracts capability, and we have the community that seems to be really interested in that. So that's something that we're going to be developing into over the next year. Thanks. That's kind of my whole presentation for the update.
Right now, we will pass to something else. Actually, one factor that makes Velas special is the application of artificial intelligence. And then, for this reason, we will have in a call the expert in machine learning and data learning from Velas blockchain. So his name is Nikita Romanov. He is an expert from SetUnion. SetUnion is the official artificial intelligence research partner for Velas Network. I think it's a bit ready right now? Yes. Okay, so let's welcome Nikita.
Hi guys, thank you for your presentation. My name is Nikita and I am Principal Data Scientist on SetUnion team, Moscow. And I want to tell you more about AI DPOS consensus algorithm. In Velas team, initial concept had been announced in 2019. And during the last year, the Velas team conducted fundamental research to understand how AI could be implemented into the blockchain architecture to optimize the key metrics. We're working with many AI research laboratories, blockchain and AI development companies, universities, and so on to make sure that our implementation is applicable for elimination of all existing blockchain problems. Based on the conducted research, we are designing and developing innovative and amazing AI DPOS consensus algorithm. And what is it? The main principle is to use AI to adapt blockchain to current conditions in the network, preserving the level of performance, safety, and decentralization in the optimal ranges. We developed and trained a simple recommender algorithm based on machine learning techniques, which should provide a dynamic change in the parameters of the network from epoch to epoch. All parameters were split on two parts. Controllable, it's, for example, number of validators, duration of epoch, and etc. And uncontrollable. And the second part, uncontrollable params, for example, the total numbers of nodes, what we can change directly. Well, such an algorithm must ensure that the Velas blockchain network stays secure and productive for its participants. This characteristic can be described as a set of real valuable metrics, and for example, performance can be measured by two straightforward things. Throughput, it's number of transactions per second, and the transaction confirmation rate. Safety is the ability of a blockchain to withstand any types of attack and properly functions during these events. Also can be relatively easy computed as a real number. Velas recommendation system keeps metrics in the optimal range and moreover tries to improve them by smoothly changing controllable params and adapting to uncontrollable. And smoothly here is really important because we cannot reduce, for example, to a half a set of validators. Well, the recommender algorithm will act as the objective guardian of the network. Like all data science models, it requires data, and we have two sources. mainnet data, mainnet historical data, and artificial data. But of course, historical data doesn't contain a lot of information about attacks and failures because generally blockchain, of course, is stable. That's why we implemented Velas Simulation Framework, a customizable program tool that allows us to emulate dangerous situations such as overload by transactions, maybe malicious nodes, network failure, in isolated testnet and scrap yet unseen data. The algorithm will combine real and artificial data to make the best predictions and protect users from crashes. Okay, we have data and a model prototype, how to train this model in decentralized fashion. The core idea behind Velas distributed learning technology is to ensure decentralization when training a recommendation model on new data. Unlike centralized training on a single server, with this approach, training will be carried out on the computing power of Velas Network nodes, thereby making training honest and open. Also, any network member will be able to test the trained model to make sure the learning outcomes are correct. At the end of epoch, the algorithm will be separately executed on each validator. They propose their own solutions and try to enroll consensus between each other. If the majority of voters accept the result, then the new parameter set applies to the future epoch. And we have updated set of parameters. We need to deliver these parameters to each node on whole blockchain. And due to the large number of important parameters saved in smart contracts, the straightforward update of these contracts and recompilation can potentially make undesirable pain. That's why we propose a smoother way using the master contract. All contracts should derive controllable parameters from this contract, and only master contract changes will be voted by validators. This approach allows us to rapidly change any configuration, and moreover, and that's more important, with no hard forks. That's basically it about AI DPOS. It's a simple but powerful solution, and in Velas team, after conducting fundamental research, we are creating a unique blockchain platform empowered by AI. I believe the provided solution can finally join AI and blockchain worlds and build the most fast and secure cryptocurrency in the world. So guys, thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nikita. Okay. Right now, we will pass to the Q&A section. And we would like to know if there is any specific questions from the audience.
No, that's great. That's okay, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'll just jump in here for questions. Yeah. Thank you, please.
Yeah. Thank you, that was a great presentation.
Sorry about the sound. Even I couldn't hear what you were saying, so I couldn't go understand.
Is it the AI that differentiates Velas from the other proof-of-stake projects? And if so, can you say more about how that differentiation works?
Absolutely. So the AI is just one aspect of the differentiator. So the general delegated proof-of-stake or just regular proof-of-stake coins. So the regular proof-of-stake is the amount of coin you stake, you get to earn by being validated on the network. That one is pretty straightforward. The more coins you have, the more chances you have. And it's kind of like proof of work where you throw more, you win the race. Those ones always lead to centralization because people accumulate more and more, and it kind of falls into the wrong hands at some point, and they can dictate their rules on the network. So it kind of leads to an issue. Delegated proof of stake is a little bit better, but how do you manage who becomes a delegate? EO's suggestion was the one you give the people, or the coin holders, they vote the candidates to become the validators, and that vote determines them. That, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people in the industry now, it still leads to issues. The issues are, it's more of a populist vote in the sense of like the hardware isn't always going to be on par. If somebody's like a celebrity or somebody who knows a lot of people with the big holders, they can still vote him in. Also, large holders, just like in a regular proof of stake network, can vote for himself, which we've seen actually happen in EOS. We actually seen it happen already, so we know it's true. And they'll just vote for themselves and they'll maintain a position without actually upgrading the hardware to address the needs of what the network requires. So they become the bottleneck, and that slows down everybody. What we have done is go one step beyond that and say, okay, what is the best for the network? Not even looking at AI, we said, okay, we need 19 nodes. I think that's kind of a perfect number because that gives speed of communication, scalability to the fact that these machines can process enough transactions, because the more nodes you have, the more they have to communicate with each other, the slower their whole network goes down. So 19 was kind of the number where like, all right, that's enough decentralization versus the centralization for the outcome of what we want to reach. But the epochs run for about 6 hours, in which then everybody gets reevaluated and joins back in as a group of 19. So it creates a bit of a random element where nobody really can aspire to have that position based on just their holdings. But it's a bit of randomization. Now the AI is the next step. It comes in and assigns reputation points to each node on the network. And then it optimizes based on what's best for itself, because it is the network. It is the network deciding what is best for itself versus the users, the players, or the gamified elements that can cheat. So that's a little long answer, but is that good? Perfect. Awesome. Any other questions? Right. Yeah, by the way, I sincerely apologize for the audio quality for the presentation we just had for AI. Sadly, that was really hard to hear. This room is not super sound friendly, but we'll make some adjustments for the next time. That's something we will consider.
We will share the live stream.
Oh, that would have a good idea, right? Perfect, yeah. So you can watch that on YouTube if you were curious about the AI presentation. The slides are available online, and it will be published on YouTube with a much better quality of audio, so you'll have more understanding of what was presented. And then also, in a couple of weeks from now, we're going to be presenting all of our AI research and what we've done to date for these modules, along with the entire team speaking. So we're going to kind of do our own, there's no conference, it's just going to be us broadcasting all this information online, because I feel like we've reached a point where we've done so much work and we've built so much cool stuff, and there's like no conference because of the world we live right now to present it. So we're just like, you know what, let's just put it all online. So we're at that stage. And then also another big accomplishment milestone for us is that in August we're preparing to go fully open source. Like last time I was talked about, people sent us questions. They were like, why are you still closed source on the fundamentals? And the reason for that is that we didn't want anyone to steal it from us and beat us to the, what we're trying to build. In blockchain, when you're building something, there's kind of an element of you want to help the community, but you also want to do it first. At this point, we've kind of done the first year, we survived it, regardless talking of the price, we feel like we've accomplished something that is notable, and now we can go to the next step in August and go full open source and develop further, which I think will only expand our credibility, and people will attract more talent. So we're really excited about that, and that should be happening in August. Yeah.
Good afternoon, my name is Abdullah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question. Why should I buy Velas coin, and why now?
Well, I don't recommend anyone buy a coin. Like if they want to support a project, then enter it. I don't like talking about price or any speculation and that stuff. What I personally think is that when you come into crypto space in general, your first goal should be, who's doing what you like, and do you think that what they're doing is long-term, has survivability? Is it going to change something, or is it just another project just doing it for the financial reasons, right? So if those checkboxes are checked, then I believe that it's probably, again, it's a tough situation. It's an odd question in the sense of it's tough to legally answer questions like that. Of course I want you to say, come to my project, but realistically the bigger answer is find what's going on in the space. If you don't understand the space, I always start with Bitcoin, always, because that's the gold standard. After that, when you understand what's going on in space, a little bit more research, and then give projects a try that you want to invest your capital in because you believe in what they're doing. And so if that, you just got to, it's all personal, it's a very personal selection thing. So you have to check your boxes, and your boxes could be different from many other people. That's why we have, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, EOS, now Velas, right? So the way I personally think we're positioned now is Bitcoin is gold, Ethereum is the DeFi king, right? We've got Tron for dApps, and we want to be the DePi project, where it's decentralized positive impact blockchain. That's my goal to accomplish in the next year. So next year, when we have another anniversary in a year, I want to be here, and my goal is to announce all the NGOs that we're working with and all the positive impact plays that we're doing, and demonstrate how our AI is giving them scoring, how we track their fund movement, how we make sure that on the ground, people getting microloans actually receiving the funds that left San Francisco and got to Amazon, and then optimize that whole chain. And then also with the Velosphere, I want to show people like your data is now secure, because it's also positive. I think positive impact is what we want to do. Like that's what Velas's main goal. We're not trying to optimize and create new banking, like no new payment system. I want secure storage for everybody. I want a secure place to share your thoughts and your beliefs, and without policing and censorship. And then also where the fund flow goes to positive impact. So that's what we're going for. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I mean, if you like that, then jump on. Like, it's not for everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody. One more question.
Yeah.
So, sorry guys.
Hey, my name is Valery, and I work for Oracle. So you mentioned the data vulnerability in the traditional cloud infrastructure.
Sure.
You mentioned one of our well-respected competitors. Do you think that these hyperscalers, they're heading into dead end and the future is distributed?
I do. I firmly believe that we reached a point now where the internet's fast enough for the data, and we're getting into the 5G territory, that's being installed everywhere, that really, if you had local storage versus the centralized storage across the land somewhere else where it all accumulates and creates a security threat, we can now kind of get closer to the true decentralization. And I think in that we can actually do it, versus where I know that 10 years ago when we talked about it, even if you try to do decentralized video streaming service, your load time would be forever. Like even if you're aggregating from everybody in the neighborhood, unless you had like an unbelievable scale of users, it just wouldn't work. Where now, even with a few users, with the speeds that we're getting, you can actually truly like see your picture when you load it, and you can truly see the video when you load it, right? So that is definitely a technology upgrade. So that security issue happened for a reason. Like the centralized services were created for a good reason. Like, I'm not shooting them down saying that's a terrible idea. Like there are things that are better done centralized, without a doubt. Like, like if you do an AI, it's much better to have a centralized server. Like, and the faster you can get it, the more CPUs you can add to it, the better. But what is your task, right? So our task isn't to handle, like Facebook, everybody's data real quick, like at the fastest possible capabilities. Our goal is to create a decentralized system where, yes, there's going to be performance trade-offs. You can't avoid them. But I think they're getting to the point where they are negligible to the factor of regular user, that they will actually use the type of system that we're trying to create. Does that answer your question? Awesome.
Thank you very much, Alex, for the Q&A section. Please give a round of applause to Alex. And now, we have a really special guest today, because we have a really renowned artist. That his name is Abdullah Qandeel, and he has a special message for all of us. So I want to welcome Abdullah to come on stage and please give us this special message. Okay, just 1 second.
This is my makeup.
For everybody present here, we want to thank you all for your presence because this is one of the most well-attended meetups in summer. Like a lot of people are on holiday, so we really appreciate your presence here today. After Abdullah's presentation, we are going to go downstairs to celebrate, so please be ready. Okay, Abdullah.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you all for your patience. Alex, wonderful presentation. Personally, I want to say that I'm attached to your project because of DEPI, Decentralized Positive Impact. For me, it's close to heart because of my background and my family's background in microfinance. Oversight on funds that are going towards positive social impact is not there. There is no oversight. It's barely there. So what he's doing and the transparency that he's creating, in my opinion, is where he's going to earn his medal and where I see Velas being really different to everybody else. So I pray and I wish and I foresee very big success for Alex. Let's all give a round of applause for Alex one more time. So I want to talk about our friend Farhad, who introduced us, who is one of the main directors of the company. Farhad originally was a client. He purchased my work, and that was the first time I ever understood what is blockchain. I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't really get into it until I met Farhad. So Farhad has been a very big part of what's going on right now, which I'm about to announce. And I want it to be known that Farhad is the manifestor in this. So everybody, round of applause for Farhad over here. Okay, so one thing we know about art is that art has changed civilization. If there's one true thing about history, is that history will always repeat itself. So let's go back, let's dig deep here. Let's go back into the caveman drawings. Is that deep enough for you? So let's go back there. Boom, you're there. It was a form of communication. It is the prime form of communication. My art, one of many artists in the world, my art has its own language that I believe I didn't come up with. It was in my blood. When I came out of my mother, I was uploaded into this world. And my old data is in here. There's a language here. And for those of you who can't see this painting, it is anything but chaotic. Look at this guy's life. Poor guy. But he's ambitious. I chose this piece because, first of all, I connect with it on a personal level. When my father had contracted COVID, he was on an ICU for 6 weeks. And this is one of the first pieces that came out of me when I got out of that hellhole. And we transferred that to the rehab clinic. So there's a very emotional connection for me. So I thought this would be the perfect pivot point for this announcement. This is going to be the first ever painting by myself, Abdullah Qandeel, on the blockchain. It's going to be available for sale. It's my first ever painting on the blockchain. Soon to be the only way you can purchase my art via Velas. Now, we're also going to announce the opening of a gallery. This gallery will have not just me as an artist, we'll have some other artists, maybe some of the well-known house brands, like Picasso, Matisse, Monet, people you've heard of. So, this is the first step, and I hope that in the next event, we'll have a lot of good data, and popping news and announcements as far as this collaboration. So, if you're interested in art, you know which website to go to, velas.com. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for your presence here. Right now we will move downstairs to the garden and to the lounge, to the crypto cafe. we will have a big celebration there. So I kindly ask you to take shifts, to take the elevator and to take the escalator as well. And for our audience that is watching online, thank you very much for all the attention. And we wish you like an amazing celebration and party. And thank you very, very much for tuning and for being here. Thank you.